I'm Zoppi and I've passed the SQE2 assessment on my first attempt. I've done my LLB at the University of Kent. I then did the LPC at the University of Law in Manchester. During the LPC, I also set up a small law firm, GZ Legal, and that's how I got my qualifying work experience. Now I manage and run a small law firm, GZ Legal, and that entails dealing with clients, overseeing client work, and managing a small team of lawyers. I've always wanted to qualify as a solicitor. The traditional route of a training contract was not possible for me whilst working at my law firm, so the SQE allowed me to still qualify whilst remaining in my company. Despite having studied the LPC, the SQE is quite different. Firstly, the standard is higher. It's that of a day one solicitor. With the LPC, it is lower. Secondly, the assessment with the SQE is closed book. With the LPC, it is open book. So a preparation course is necessary, or at least strongly recommended. QLTS was a good option for me because it allowed me to study in a way that was flexible on my own terms, and I had a very vast library of materials. My experience with QLTS has been very good. Firstly, Joanne, my tutor, gave great feedback on my oral mock assessments, and she was very useful. Secondly, I got to study in a very flexible way, which worked with my schedule. And thirdly, QLTS has many resources, so it did not cap my ability to study. The aspect that I found most useful of QLTS, their school, is the fact that it is very flexible. So I get to study on my own terms as soon as I want to and as much as I want to when I want to. As someone who runs a small business, I don't have a lot of time. So I started 6 months before the SQE2 assessment, and I dedicated 2 hours per weekday to studying, and I usually did these in the evening. My firm was very supportive of my studies. Maybe despite not having managers, I do have colleagues who have studied or were studying at the time. And they were very empathetic to the needs of someone who is both working and studying. So they would support me as much as they could. Nothing is ever certain, and at least I never find myself being completely confident that I will pass an exam. But I felt as prepared as I could be with QLTS. Passing the SQE has gotten me one step closer to finally qualifying as a solicitor, a dream I've had since I was 7 years old. I expect that once I am a qualified solicitor, with clients, I'll be able to much more easily build trust. Looking back, I would say that it depends on how much experience and knowledge you have about the law. In any case, for anyone, I would strongly recommend undertaking a preparation course. The more prepared you are, likely the better the outcome. My advice for aspiring solicitors who are either thinking of taking the SQE or are currently preparing for the SQE is twofold. Number one, manage your time well. Allocate time to studying, and number two, start as soon as you can. In today's world, to become a successful solicitor, in my experience, especially when considering the rise of tech in the legal industry, solicitors must have soft skills. The biggest one, or the most important one, might be empathy. and that can be expressed both as personal empathy and commercial empathy. For personal empathy, you need to understand the human being that you're dealing with and their emotions. And for commercial empathy, you need to understand the business, their risks, their issues and their goals.